Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dallas Live, and I am your host, Dr. RC. Today is September 29th, and our live show starts right now. Our guest is James Goi. He has written a best selling book titled How to Attract Money Using Mind Power. James, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here.
All right, James, we also have a simultaneous uh, video cast, and I'm going to show your book to my audience who are watching this on the videos. There it is goes. There it goes, guys. It's How to Attract Money Using Mind Power, James Goi Jr. And this book is available at Amazon and various other bookstores. All right, James, let's get right to it. Now, before we go into this program, I also want to show our audience on the video cast a picture of you that is appearing on page 85 of your book. Now, I am showing this picture, and you don't have beard. You are clean shaven on that particular video, on that particular picture. Now, do you look the same now?
As the picture inside the book,
Yes.
no. Do I have short hair?
You have short hair. You look like you a movie actor, and you should be in Hollywood.
Oh, thank you. Well, I've covered it all up now. I got long gray hair and quite a long beard and mustache going.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. All right. Before we go right into your book, our audience would like to know where you were born, what did you do at the early part of your life, what did you do, what are you doing now, and what's in the future for you? Can you just go ahead briefly and tell us?
Certainly. I was born here in the U.S. I was born in New Jersey, and I came out to actually California to San Diego in my when I was about 19, 20 years old. And as far as work, I've done all kinds of things. I've been a telemarketing manager, a salesperson. I've had my own hauling service. I've delivered lots of stuff. I have been a caregiver for elderly people. Um, just so many things. Loading trucks, all kinds of stuff. I didn't have a specific education to fall back on.
Okay.
And but I had been studying from about the time I came out here. Not long after, I started finding these books on metaphysics and spirituality and all of that. And within a few years, I was also teaching this type of thing to small groups, but nothing big or professional or whatever. And I've had a lot of ups and downs financially using the techniques I teach. I've had large windfalls and everything. But I came to a point when I was 48 years old. I'm 54 now. And I was taking care of an elderly, developmentally disabled man at the time for very low pay. And my household was $50,000 in credit card debt. And I had already been working on this book for a number of years, which is surprising. But it's not just what you know, it's what you do, I always tell people. And so I had previously, a few years before, had a large six-figure windfall and let my consciousness slip, and so my finances slipped. But anyway, to make a long story short, I actually quit my job under these dire circumstances to focus fully on the book and to, actually apply what I was teaching. I mean, day in and day out from morning to night. And within 3 months, I attracted two six-figure windfalls into the house, paid off the $50,000 in credit card debt, and have been basically involved in what I call my right livelihood ever since. My book is published in several languages now. I have about a half a dozen more books I've written that I'll be publishing soon, and I've never looked back from that time.
Well, looks like a very interesting career in the last few years. Um, well, let's start with the first part of your book. And I had the opportunity to buy your book as I was showing to my audience. Actually, I have a copy of your book in my hand. Um, the first three things that are written on your the desire to have money, the belief that you can have the money, and the expectancy. Can you go ahead and tell me the first three steps and what do they mean and how our audience can work their way into understanding these three principles?
Right. Well, the first chapter is on desire, and that's for a reason, because without desire, people will not, without sufficient desire, people will not do what they need to do to get the money that they say they would like to have. And I say sufficient desire because, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, I'd love to win the lottery or I'd love to be rich, but it's just a faint kind of a wish, and they don't really think that it can ever happen, and therefore they have no true or strong desire for it. But as you know, I quote 160 other books in this book, and I would like to read here the quote I opened the first chapter on desire on. And that's from Robert Collier from The Secret of the Ages, which was first published in 1926. And he said, desire is the great moving power of the mind, that which excites into action the will and powers of the individual. It is at the bottom of the action. It is at the bottom of action, emotion, or expression. So that's really telling us that desire is the starting point. So I teach people that, you know, it's okay to have money. Sometimes we have to get past some of our preconceived notions or prejudices or fears about it, and then to actually develop the desire so that when you learn the mind power techniques and principles that I teach in the book, you will actually have the motivation to put them into use and to actually do what you need to do day in and day out to be able to drastically improve your financial circumstances. And so that's why it's the first chapter, and that's where we start. Now, chapter 2 is on belief. I have another great quote here that I start this chapter in, and it's from Claude M. Bristol from The Magic of Believing, 1948. And what he wrote was, belief changes the tempo of the mind or thought frequency. Like a huge magnet, it draws the subconscious forces into play, changing your whole aura and affecting everything about you, including people and objects at great distances. And so first we start with desire, which helps us move into belief, because the desire gets us to start studying. But the belief actually starts to build then, and it increases our desire drastically, because it's hard for us. It's like, people would think, well, it'd be great to be the ruler of the world because then I could fix a lot of things. But it's not a desire they have because they don't believe it could ever happen. Therefore, it's not something they actually desire. But when you start to believe more and more that you can have more through the use of mind power and metaphysical techniques, then your desire grows because you see more and more that it is possible. And the reason belief is so powerful is because it is in line with how our subconscious minds work. Our subconscious minds are basically mechanisms or machines that work to bring about in unison with the universal subconscious, the universal mind we could call it. It works to bring about those things that we have led it to believe exist. And how do we do that? Well, through our thoughts and our feelings and the images we hold within our minds. And when we believe we can have good things, such as a lot more money, those are the pictures that will be in our mind. Those were the thoughts that we will have in our minds, and we will have the resulting and the appropriate feelings and emotions to go along with that. And this all helps to prime the subconscious mind to then bring us the objects of our desires and that have developed into the actual objects of our belief. And now, expectancy is a form of belief, but it is a certain kind of belief. See, we can believe things that aren't true. Like we can believe our boss likes us, and maybe our boss doesn't like us. But when we come to expect something, we actually believe that something that hasn't come about will come about. We actually assume that it will come about. And that is the strongest level of belief for something that hasn't yet happened, is the state of expectancy. And here I can quote from the book Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking from 1952. It's a classic book in this field that many people are familiar with. And he wrote that it is a well-defined and authentic principle that what the mind profoundly expects, it tends to receive. Now, here's another one I like, a nice short one by Barbel Moore from the Cosmic Ordering Service, 2001. And she wrote, "Man creates reality through expectation." And that is such a powerful, it's only 5 words, but man creates reality through expectation. So when people come to understand the great power that they have and that their expectancy and expectation is actually drawing to them the things that they expect, then it's a very powerful thing. And if we look at our expectations, such as how we've been planning and visualizing what we're going to be doing for our retirement and what our finances will be, and or anything, how our career is going to go, or how we're going to move up the ladder at work or not. And when we learn and understand that what we have been expecting is exactly what we've been creating, and that when we realize that we can raise our expectations through the methods I teach, and that then the things we get will also be rising up. Our future will actually be changing before it's even here because our expectations have changed. And so these are very
Okay.
powerful principles to understand.
Yes, the first 3 ones, you have to have the desire, and you have to believe in it, and you have to expect it. And I like that Barbara Moore's statement: man
Yes,
creates reality through expectation. All
right.
right. Well, that's a good start. Um, the next 6 chapters that you have written, the money mindset, the money goals, the fact of the matter here I see here is, do you have to think and act and speak as if you already have it, or you have to act, speak, and think as if you are going to have it for sure? Okay, can you explain the next set of steps?
Right. Well, it's a little bit of both. We do, and I have a chapter in the book called Act as If, and I also have one called Think and Feel as If. So there's different techniques, but sometimes we want to act as if we actually have the thing. And sometimes we want to act as if we will have it. Like, let's say that I want to win the lottery, and I can act as if I've won it, because let's say if I won it, I would buy myself that pair of, I don't know, $500 shoes if I'm a fancy dresser that I like but would never spend the money on. But now that I know I've won the lottery, now I can act as if, or if I really believe I'm going to win the lottery, I can act as if I have won it, and I can actually buy those shoes because I have $500 in my checking account. But if I want a $2 million mansion, let's say, that I've got my eye on when I win the lottery, I can't actually act as if I have won the lottery because I can't buy the house. But I can act as if I definitely will win the lottery because I can look at the homes, I can study up on what it's going to take to get the home. I can study the neighborhood. I can learn about insurance and, different things of that nature. The history of the house, if it's of note, and it can be looked up. So sometimes we act as if the thing that we want is ours now. Sometimes we act as if it definitely will be. They're basically the same thing, but there's just different shades of how we actually do the acting
Okay, so
itself.
now if we are going to act as if we have won a lot of money, now my only concern is, if I'm assuming you are not going to say that you are going to win the lottery, and therefore, it's okay to act as if you have won the lottery and then you are going to buy this house. Now, there must be, I did not see anywhere in your book that winning lottery is part of the deal, right? You have to
Right.
work hard, right? I mean, it's not that you're going to one of the horse race and bet some money and get some money, and that's not going to work. So, in other words, the money goals and the end results, and also the money mindset, all these things require some sort of writing up your goals and follow through the goals, right? Now, We just finished our first quarter part of this. So, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Dallas Live, and I am your host, Dr. RC. And we have James Goi, who has written the How to Attract Money Using Mind Power, one of the best selling books. And he's also working on several other books. And the number to call is 469 307 1642 1642. And we will be right back. We will be right back in 2 minutes, James.
Okay, great. Thank you.